SMT Nation, we back. Nation, we've got new research and data from New Street Research and Recon Analytics doing some surveys, and now we kind of understand what's going on and how big cable is taking share, who they're taking share from, and kind of what that breakdown is and the reasons these different customer trends are happening. So this is a pretty good article. It's got some good data. We'll be sure to link it for you in the description, and then ways to support the SMT will be found in the description as well. All right, so according to the data, when it comes to cable customers, with respect to Comcast with Xfinity Mobile and Charter with Spectrum Mobile, those are the two fastest growing, I guess we'll call them postpaid brands in the industry. They're taking share. They've been taking share. I think Charter's got 7 million customers, and Comcast is like 4 or 5 million. Anyways, a lot of customers have left the big mobile network operators like T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T for these cable MVNOs. And I'll throw in Sprint there because they were around for some of that growth, right? But now we know exactly who, at least a majority of those folks, who they're leaving and why they're going to cable. So first of all, the gross adds are switchers, and a very small percentage are new to the industry. So what does that mean? Well, 90% of the customers that are going to big cable for mobile service, they're switching from a larger provider. And, for the most part, the industry has stabilized and gotten very mature. The churn is low. The entire industry as a whole has a churn rate of 1.4%, right? So that is very, very low. Now, with respect to who they're leaving, well, they're leaving the big MNO, Verizon and AT&T, I guess at a higher clip, right? In fact, 64% of cable's gross adds are coming from 3 national providers. There's about 20% that are coming from prepaid, and then somewhere between like 10 and 15% are new to the industry, right? So that's important. Now, a majority of the customers are coming from AT&T and Verizon. And I've mentioned this on a show previously on our podcast, that the likely carrier that is hurting the most from the switching is not T-Mobile, right? So this kind of confirms that. Also, I mentioned that this also hurts AT&T the most because Verizon is the mobile service provider giving access to cable, so they're involved in that revenue, right? So it doesn't hurt them as much. It really doesn't hurt them at all, actually. They'd prefer to not deal with a cost-sensitive customer. They would prefer to just have some other company deal with it, and they just lease access on the network, right? So some of the claims by cable, about the health and vitality of their business, they talk about how fixed wireless access is nibbling at the bottom. Well, I mean, the same could be said about them with the mobile subscriber, right? Their mobile subscriber that they're adding is from the bottom because they are a cost-sensitive customer, right? So the ARPU is kind of the key there. Now, the other thing to mention, which I find kind of interesting, is with respect to customers leaving, let's say AT&T, that's kind of shocking. Customers respond to phone deals, right? So very specifically, AT&T offers like the best trade-in promotions and deals on iPhones, for example. $1,000 off an iPhone over a 36-month installment period where you get credits, new and existing customers. So that historically has been the way to get customers in the industry. So them still losing these customers tells me two things. Either the customers going to cable don't care all that much about the subsidies on the devices, or big cable has been actively and promotionally busy offering good deals on promotions. So they've been getting close or matching AT&T, and that's why they've been losing those customers. Basically telling the customer, we'll give you the same deal, come to us. Which really in and of itself hurts big cable a lot because big cable doesn't make as much money on services that way, right? So they're trying to keep them on their home internet, trying to get them through wireless, curb the losses that, Verizon and T-Mobile 5G home internet are taking to their door. This is a really interesting dynamic. You have like a tug of war and like 2 or 3 different angles happening between big cable and the mobile network providers. Now, one of the things mentioned in this article that I found interesting was now that T-Mobile's starting to compete for a new customer, they're starting to take the Verizon and AT&T customer outside of urban core, right? So thinking like rural America and stuff like that, it's been underpenetrated for T-Mobile. They're thinking that there might eventually be a spike in churn for T-Mobile to big cable too, right? Because that customer becomes prevalent at T-Mobile, and that behavior or trend of losing those customers to big cable would eventually hit T-Mobile. I don't know when and if that's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see it in the data though, right? But I do have to add that I do think that T-Mobile does a pretty nice job of competing against big cable, and now they have a home broadband option that allows them to cover up, all the needs of a customer. So this is interesting stuff here. What do you guys think of that data? Your takes, welcome down below. You're the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.